Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're taking off into a world of interstellar imagination with Scott Rivera and his amazing book, The Game. Let's play spaceships. What if intelligent life is out there but hasn't contacted us yet? In this creative and nostalgic story, inspired by his own childhood games, the author explores the mysteries of the universe, blending adventure, wonder, and a touch of youthful imagination that reminds us all to dream big. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Bookside Press for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Scott, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
My pleasure, Logan. Pleasure speaking with you.
Great speaking with you as well. This is a terrific book. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind it and how it connects with your childhood.
I guess I'd say that when I was a kid, me and my brothers would play, walk around the backyard and fly with our spaceships going around and pretending like we're going to different worlds and different galaxies. And it was something that was, I guess that's the inspiration behind it, the childhood game. And I want to hopefully invoke that childhood imagination that lays dormant in I think everybody, and everyone had a game that they played when they were young too. So that's kind of the inspiration behind it, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. We all play with spaceships. We want to be astronauts. We believe in men from Mars and people from the moon and all that stuff when you're younger. And that's the great part of being young, is having that sense of wonder, that sense of excitement. Do you believe intelligent life exists but hasn't contacted us yet?
I really do. I'm like, I don't know if that's the main premise of the book, but it's still, I do believe that there's intelligent life out there. I mean, there's trillions of galaxies or out there in space, and there's probably even more planets. I mean, the space is a very massive, enormous thing that is out there, and there's got to be intelligent life, I think, out there somewhere.
Exactly. If every star out there is a sun and every sun has planets, why would we be the only ones that are inhabited with semi-intelligent life, I'll say, that we have here on Earth? There might be more
Good way to say
intelligent
it.
life out there, without a doubt. Let's give
Well,
the folks at home an overview of the story.
you mean like a summary of it?
Summary of your book, yeah.
Well, it's
Like once
basically
upon a time. Again.
it's like when we imagine ourselves building a spaceship and in an underground laboratory, and we ended up, taking it out in space and finding that there's life out there and have and meet a lot of people and friends out there, and we find that there's an interstellar highway that could take you to all the vast of the galaxies, millions of light years away in really in pretty quick time. And there's a lot of twists and turns with the story. I don't want to get too much away, but still, but I think there's a suspense, action, psychological intrigue, spiritual insight, all wrapped up in my book. And I thought I like to engage the reader and cause them to think about things and all the things in my book. I think that they'll, if they read it, they'll really have a different insight about things.
I think so too. Who's your target reader? Who's your audience? Who do you hope picks this book up?
I would say probably from teenage up to adulthood, because it's not a kid's book, even though it might seem that way. It's not really a kid's book. It's for all, I think in all ages, there's nothing in there that would be considered bad or anything like that. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
I think all ages would be appropriate.
Yeah, I think for sure it would appeal to people of all ages. Have you envisioned this as a film?
Yeah, that's what probably that gets the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And there's a couple companies that have kind of approached me with proposals
Hmm.
to make a movie from the book, and I'm actively seeking one out right now.
Good.
Doesn't mean that's going to be the final one, but I that is the ultimate goal because I remember when I was playing my game, we kind of imagined ourselves in a movie, flying around spaceships in the house and whatever not, and so I think that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, that'd be great. You've got the story out there now. The book is out there, so you never know whose hands it's going to wind up in. So Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, this would be a great movie. So let's get it made. Are you thinking about writing a sequel?
Yeah, actually, it's pretty much already done. It's just the proofreading and all the arrangement, artwork, and everything that goes into the book. That's in progress right now. So it's a few months out before the next one will be ready, but it's basically done. And there's possibly a third one in the future as well, but that one I haven't even really come up with anything yet. It's just something lurking in my mind for the third one.
Sounds great. What's your working title for the sequel?
Right now, it's still titled The Game. Let's play Survive the Planet of Mutants.
Yeah.
That's the tentative title. It could change, but that's right now.
Gotcha, gotcha. Tell us a little bit about your life. You're a family man. You have children, you're married, and all that. Tell us a little bit about how they might have impacted the work or influenced the work.
Well, like say for on I would always play with my kids the spaceship game on mostly on like Thanksgiving Day to get some of my old toys out that I had. There wasn't that many, and we'd play spaceships and fly around the house with my own kids, and that was it seemed like any kid enjoys this game.
Exactly, exactly. It's funny. I had an audition about 10 years ago now for Mercury Insurance to play their UFO conspiracy theorist. And they wanted to know what I would do with a flying aircraft. And my audition was, so we all kind of recall our childhoods.
Yeah,
That's the whole point. When we're being creative, you got to tap into that little kid inside of you. And you've done a great job with this book. Was it fun writing it?
that's the part I love about the most, and the artwork that goes into it. I love that. Some of the artwork I drew when I was quite young has made it into the book. In fact, the ship on the cover, I was part of a doodle when I was sitting at the kitchen table years ago, and I scanned it in my computer, and now it's on my cover of my book. And I'm like, there's a lot of artwork that has made it into the book, and there's a lot of maps and stuff that I made to scale with the book, and then there's part of it. The writing part's also exciting because I never know how they're going to get to the next part of the story, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's exciting. It is fun being in that space where you're living in that world, you're creating that world. You don't know where the characters might wind up going. They're taking on a life and a personality of their own. I think living in that space is what makes being a writer so wonderful, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm can only imagine with the second one. I mean, the third book will be, you know, I kind of have an idea what it's going to be, but it's once another again another time that we played spaceship or games, and I'll include that into the third book. But it's probably going to be a lot more imaginative, even more than the first two, I would think, and pushing the limits.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Who are some of your influences? Do you like Star Trek? Do you like Star Wars? My Robot? What are some of the films and TV shows that kind of influence your brain a little bit when it comes to writing this stuff?
Actually, there's quite a number of movies that are, I'd say, yeah, Star Wars definitely was a big influence, and Star Trek.
Yeah.
Even such film cartoons like Star Blazers, if anyone ever knows of that one, The Dark Crystal, Never Ending Story, and there's a whole host of other ones that kind of played into this imaginary world. I gotta give all of those credit.
Absolutely sci-fi, fantasy. You watch enough of it over the years, it becomes part of your brain. But the good news is you've created something truly your own, truly original, truly born out of your own life experience. The name of
Yeah,
the book is The Game. Let's Play Spaceships. What if intelligent life is out there but hasn't contacted us yet? In this creative and nostalgic story inspired by the author's own childhood games, he explores the mysteries of the universe, blending adventure, wonder, and a touch of youthful imagination. Scott, before we leave you here today, is there anything else you'd like the folks at home to know about your book or your work or your life?
well, if they have interest, they can visit my website, scottriverabooks.com. And so far, things are going well, and I hope people get inspired to read this book, and I know that they're going to be satisfied with the overall experience of my book.
I think so too, without a doubt. And we're looking forward to the sequel and when it becomes a trilogy as well. That sounds
Yeah,
terrific. God, thank you so much for joining me here today on
thank you.
Spotlight.
My pleasure
Thank you.
speaking with you.
Pleasure talking to you as well. Had a great time. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.